Hey everybody, this is Mr. Storm. I'm going to show you my calculator that I just created. It's not this. I created a calculator on the volume of a cylinder, right? A right-angled cylinder. So this is the formula, right? Volume equals pi r squared h. So r is the radius and h is the height. This is something you've probably already done in math class. Probably back in 8th grade math class you've done this. And you had to actually do the math to solve for this. Well, I just created a calculator to do it. Now, I have this open to help me double check my math just to make sure my calculator works. So here's how my calculator works. Notice that I'm hiding my code from you because I'm a sneaky, sneaky boy. One thing I did run into, though, when I was creating this is I had some issue with my floats, right? My math operation didn't want to work inside of a float variable. So here's what I had to do. I had to actually convert my float variable into a new variable type that I haven't taught you about called a double, right? If you're getting issues with your floats and they're not working, try changing the keyword float to double and it might actually work. A double is essentially the same thing as a float, but they're handled a bit differently and they're pretty rare. But I was having issues with this program, so I converted mine to a double and it actually worked out. So that may be a trick that you might want to think of or remember if you start having issues if you're using a float variable. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to enter my radius here. Let's do 8. And my height, let's say 27. It says that my cylinder has a volume of 5,425.92 cubic meters. So let's double check my math with Google's calendar. So 8 and 27. My radius is 8. My height is 27. Hey, 5,428.67. So we're off by a little bit. Now, here's where that little bit is coming from. In my program, let me refresh this. In my program, whenever I created pi, I just put in 3.14. I could have used like a math.pi, whatever. I could have actually explicitly said I wanted to use pi, but I just put in 3.14, and it got me approximately the amount of the way there. If yours doesn't exactly match up, it's probably because you're missing, again, you're using 3.14 for pi instead of the actual whole number of pi. So mine's not exactly matching, but this right here, this calculator, the way it's functioning, we're getting close enough to the answer. Really all I'm looking at is the programming, right? Did you create the program in the correct way? Did you use all the correct things I'm looking for? Did you use the parse statement you're supposed to use so that it actually works? Remember back to the last lesson where we learned how to use a parse. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, did you respect order of operations when you wrote your formula? That's important too. So anyway, I made a volume of a cylinder calendar or calculator. You can make any kind of calculator you want. If you want to make an Ohm's law calculator, if you want to make try to make it something a bit more complicated. I've seen kids in the past do like miles per gallon calculators and whatever, those are fine. Do something more complicated than that. Maybe try Fahrenheit to Celsius calculator or, make up your own formula. It's more fun if you find a real formula that exists, though, and try to figure out how to write it in there. Hey, maybe think about your math class that you're taking right now and what formulas you have to write for that class or solve for that class. Maybe write a calculator for math class. I don't know. It's up to you. Remember, don't cheat. But, I'm asking you to create a calculator, so I'm not going to tell anyone if you don't. All right, so that's my calculator. That's what it looks like. It's very, very simple. Takes in 2 variables, spits out the result. So get to work on this. Again, this is not going to be a long project, and this is a power standard. So let's make sure we do it right, we do it well, and we do it on time. Okay, if you have any questions, please let me know. Peace.